VPSA, welcome back to another video. In this one, I'll be taking you guys through my experience of switching from an Android smartphone to an iPhone. So I've never used an iPhone before, this was my first time. So I just want to take you guys through the transition process, the features and specs of the iPhone that I'm using, as well as the advantages and disadvantages that I've seen so far while I've been using this iPhone. So if you're in the market for a new iPhone or you're thinking of switching from Android to iPhone, definitely this video will help you out. So without further ado, let us begin. So I will start with the features and specs of the iPhone that I've been using. This is the iPhone 8 Plus. It came out back in 2017 September, so it's definitely an old phone. It's more than 3 years old, and the only reason I'm still able to use it in 2021 is the fact that Apple continuously update their iPhones with their latest operating system. So if I go into the settings tab, as you can see, this phone is running iOS 14.7.1, which is the latest version of iOS as at September 5th, 2021. And Apple continuously updates the phone. So if you have an iPhone 6s and above, it gets the regular updates, meaning what people with an iPhone 12 and me with an iPhone 8 Plus, what we are seeing when we're using our phones, it's exactly the same thing. So for the specs, this phone comes with a 5.5-inch IPS LCD screen, and it has a dual camera setup at the back. Let me just remove this case. So there's a dual camera setup at the back. It's 12 megapixel with a flash, and at the front you have a 7 megapixel camera at the front, and at the bottom you have a home button that also acts as a fingerprint reader. So this was the last flagship iPhone to ship with a fingerprint reader. The other iPhones that came after this one, they use the Face ID unlock function. A lot of people who preferred the fingerprint, they opted to remain with their iPhone 8 Plus. So it's still a valid iPhone in 2021 for that reason. And I'm making this video before the new iPhones are released later in September. So in case of any changes, don't worry, this video came out before the release of the new iPhone 13 model. Other notable features of this phone, it supports wireless charging, and for the memory options, the RAM is 3 GB and the internal storage is 64 GB, and there's no memory card slot. So just for context, the Android phone I was using was a Xiaomi Redmi Note 7. I bought that phone in 2017, and its specs are it has 4 GB of RAM as well as 128 GB of internal storage, and it has a memory card slot. And the battery on that Redmi Note 7 is rated at 4000 milliamp hours, whereas on this iPhone it's rated at 2691 milliamp hours, which on paper the Android phone has a definitely better battery life than this one, but we'll speak about the iPhone battery life in the next section. So for the switching process, the first thing I did was I removed my SIM card from the Android phone and I put it into the iPhone, and that is where I noticed the first disadvantage of this iPhone. It's not a dual SIM phone. The Android phone I was using is a dual SIM phone, and I use Airtel for my mobile data and Safaricom for calls and messages. So that was almost a deal breaker for me, but I've never used iOS before. I just wanted to try it, so I swallowed that bullet. So the iPhone 8 Plus is not dual SIM. There are newer iPhones that come with this technology known as eSIM, where you can have a virtual SIM and a physical SIM. So I'll get my hands on an iPhone that supports that feature and show you guys in another video, but for now I'm stuck with this single SIM iPhone. The next thing that I did was to download all the apps that I had on my Android phone to this iPhone. So thankfully all the Android apps that I was using were free, so that wasn't an issue. I just went into the App Store here. Let me just show you. You just go to the App Store and you search for the apps that you want, and you can easily download them without any issue. The thing that I noticed was iOS apps are very large. They're like 200 MB, 150 MB, so they're much larger than what we usually get in Android. So if you're going for an iPhone, please make sure you go for as large of a memory option as possible, because this one is 64 GB, and I know I've been using it for 1 week so far. So if we look at the space that is remaining, just go to general iPhone storage, you can see 17.4 GB of 64 GB is already used, and most of it is by the music app, because I imported my music to the phone. So for the music, the way I did it initially, I connected the iPhone to my computer, and you will need to have iTunes installed on your computer so that you can import your music to iTunes, and then once in iTunes you can sync the iPhone with iTunes and easily import all the songs from the computer to your phone. So if you want to use this Apple Music app, let me just show you guys. If you want to use the Apple Music app, you will have to connect your phone and do that iTunes syncing and transfer music that way. But there's this app I found, it's called Melodista. So with Melodista, you can download audio files on the default browser, which is Safari on the iPhone, and once you download your audio files, you can view them under the Files tab. So under the Files tab, you can just browse or downloads. Under downloads, all the audio files you've downloaded will come here, and using Melodista app you can import them. So if you go to the Melodista app and you just click on this cloud icon, you can import the audio files from your Files app, and yeah, at least there you don't need to use a computer to get music on the iPhone, but you'll need to download the audio files using the default Safari browser on the iPhone. So for the battery, I found myself charging this phone 2 times a day, when I wake up in the morning and when I get home from work. So I've been using it quite heavily this first week that I've had it, like 4 to 5 hours of screen on time. So it has managed to last me throughout the day without having to charge it in the middle of the day. So that 2691 milliamp hour battery is not that small as it appears on paper. It will get you at least through the day, or at least some bit of the day, but you will definitely need to have a charger around. So for the interface, the key differences that I noticed between Android and iOS. So number one, when it comes to the notifications, if you slide down, this is where you see all your messages. And usually with Android, you have your toggles on top here for the brightness and the sound selection. So on iOS, you need to just swipe from the bottom, and this is where you have now your quick settings and toggles. So you have the Wi-Fi and the mobile data, and for these small icons you can add or remove them from the settings options, but these other large ones I didn't see any option of changing or ordering them. Again, another key difference when it comes to the interface between Android and iOS, you see here we don't have the back or home or recently opened apps button. So if you're inside an app, for example, if I'm inside Safari and I want to go home, you can just press the home button. Or if you're inside Safari and you want to go now to the previous page, you just swipe like that back. So it's quite intuitive. Just swipe. Now, yeah, you just swipe and it brings you to the previous page that you had opened. Then you can just easily go home. For the recently opened apps, you have to double tap, and then you will see all the apps that have been opened on the phone, and you can easily scroll through and just go to the app that you recently opened. So it does take some getting used to using iOS, but generally for an Android user, I'd say you'll just need a few days to get used to the swiping gestures, but once you get used to it, it comes naturally. So what I like about the iPhone so far, it has very good memory management for the recent apps. You can compare it to Android. So if you leave an app running in the background, you can access it again without it having to reload or take a lot of time to buffer like in Android. Another thing I like about iOS is it's very smooth. That 3 GB RAM doesn't limit you in any way. The phone is very able and capable of handling any day-to-day tasks that you throw at it. So now for the disadvantages, well, number one, I had to buy a new charger. No one has this lightning port charger lying around. Most people use USB Type-C or micro USBs. So this cable that I bought, it comes with all 3 charging ports. So you have your micro USB, you have the lightning port, and then you also have the USB Type-C. And it's quite handy because I never have to worry about buying a charger again. So that's something to note. If you get this phone, your old cables that you are using with Android, most of them will be obsolete unless you have this type of charging solution which has all the ports, so you can easily transition in between the charging ports. So I'm still using the device. This was week 1. I just wanted to give you guys an overview of my experience so far before I forget anything. So I will do a long-term review of the iPhone and iOS as I continue using it. And if you have any questions or comments regarding iOS or anything you want to learn or find out, please leave them in the comments below and I will be sure to get back to them. Other than that, we've come to the end of the video. Thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I will catch you guys in the next video. Bye for now.